Okay, awesome. Thank you for coming to this workshop. The purpose of our workshop is to just like cover, like lay the foundation with like basic requirements for the major itself, but also general degree requirements, any like policy type requirements you need to be aware of as you're progressing throughout your degree. And then that way, as we meet one-on-one to go over like your graduation timeline, the classes that you're taking, what your like career goals are and aspirations, that we can cater those conversations and not have to like go over these weedy parts for those types of appointments. This will be kind of a two-part thing. At the end, we'll direct you to a QR code. That will be like a completion form that you'll acknowledge kind of the information that we share with you. And then we also ask you to write down some goals. So we'll have like a short term, a semester, and a long-term goal. So be kind of thinking about that. It doesn't have to be like necessarily career related. It can be like a personal goal of yours, just whatever. We really encourage and want our students to really think about like stretching themselves. And that's kind of part of where our motto for Dare Mighty Things comes in. We want you to recognize that like you can dream big and you can achieve big things. And we also want to be a part of that process with you. We want to be your success team. We want to help provide you with the right resources while you're here in the Huntsman School so that you can reach those goals that you set for yourself. So it's submitting that form at the end that it will come to me, and that's when I officially mark you off that you've completed the workshop so that you don't get the hold in March. Okay. So first, we just want to introduce you to your team. Our team is actually kind of growing and changing a little bit. So it's not officially on here, but we are in the process of training a new advisor. So Tyler Iott will be kind of morphing into the role as the econ advisor with time, and we'll alert you to when he's up and running with appointments and things like that for the semester and beyond. But in the meantime, I'm Lindsay Kazare. I'm the academic advisor. So my role is anything academic related, anything regarding your classes, graduation, not meeting the correct grades or GPA requirement, how we work through all of that. And then Nicole Barfus is your career specialist. So this is Nicole. And so she's anything with like any type of career question, whether that's just exploring career opportunities within economics, if it's kind of navigating, like finding an internship, reviewing your resume, utilizing LinkedIn in a more efficient way with networking. She can even help with like practice interview skills, negotiating a job offer when you're like getting to that point. Different things along those lines are where you'll meet with Nicole. This is a unique service to us here in the Huntsman School compared to the rest of the university. We specialize by major as opposed to the Career Design Center where they just have one career coach assigned per college. So we have that kind of extra like specialty here in the Huntsman School that's a benefit for you. This QR code on the screen will take you to the landing page for appointments. We don't do any like walk-in or same-day appointments, so you do need to schedule ahead of time. When you get to this landing page, there will be an academic advising section and a career development section, and that's how you'll find either one of us to see our appointment availability. And that's also where you'll see Tyler when the time comes that he'll start taking appointments. Also, just want to make you aware of our appointment policy. If you are more than 10 minutes late, we will ask you to reschedule that appointment. Where we do book out our appointments ahead of time, we do want to be mindful of kind of what we have upcoming in our day and also give you the time that you're requesting and needing for those appointments. If you are like en route and you might be like 12 minutes late, give us a call at the front desk and just let us know that you're on your way, and we'll usually accommodate you. But that communication is definitely appreciated. We also just want to like encourage and remind and beg and plead for some to be checking your student email account. That's where all USU communication has to go. So anytime that we have to initiate something with you, we'll send it there. Same with your classes, but a lot of that also goes through Canvas. And then as you communicate with us, just make sure your A number is in the email somewhere, whether if you are emailing from your student email A number account, if you haven't changed it to be like your first dot last name or anything, just make sure your A number is in there so it will make communication a little bit quicker and easier for us. For any students that are first year college students, fall or spring semester is like, well, this school year in general, if it's your first time on a college campus, we have our freshman academy. So something to potentially still add this semester if you fall into that category. It's an opportunity for us to like it's a little bit like an orientation for the Huntsman School. We dive into some more of that, like a little bit more of the experiential learning side of what we focus on here in the Huntsman School. So it's a little bit more of like an active, involved kind of a class where you'll hear from various speakers, and they cover things like, being like a contributing community member, and like doing kind of stuff with service, or talking a little bit more about like ethics and leadership and that kind of element. So something to have on your radar if you are 1 or 2 semesters into college, that we'd like you to be taking this freshman academy. It's not part of your like graduation requirements, but we do highly encourage it for first year college students. We're gonna just go over some things to know about like in the classroom related items. Just covering kind of the basic groundwork for a bachelor's degree. You need a total of 120 credits to graduate with a bachelor's. This is kind of a significant number for econ students, because the econ major is quite small in terms of credit total. So depending on what your background is in, if you've got, like if you changed majors, or if you like brought in some transfer or concurrent enrollment work or AP credits, that will kind of change the trajectory a little bit. But often my students who don't really have a lot of other college work or previous majors, and they're only studying econ, they end up needing upwards of 30 elective credits just to help them get to that 120. We don't require you to choose a minor or double major. The econ major also has a variety of emphasis options that you can choose from. So again, we don't require any of that, but they're available. There's some different things you can look into. Correct. You can just stick with the basic econ program if you want, but if there is an emphasis that interests you, you'd be welcome to declare that as well. So just something to kind of be thinking about, especially as it relates to like any potential career goals you have. If you're going to find value in it, then yes, let's do it, but otherwise not a requirement that way. 100 credits above a C minus, upper division credits. We need 40 out of the 120, and those are 3,000 level courses and above, count towards that 40. So general education requirements are kind of that standard across any university. Gen eds are what makes up like an associate's degree. And then USU is a little bit more unique in the sense that we have the depth education requirements that just kind of build off of the gen eds. But those will contribute to your upper division credit total, because those will all be 3,000 level or higher. And then I'm going to skip over to the last one, the 2.5 GPA. That's what we look at for graduation. So like particularly we're looking at any Huntsman related programs, majors, minors, we'll look for a 2.5 GPA for graduation there. And then just in general, all of your courses require a C or better. So you do need to average above a C with your classes to meet that 2.5 requirement, but a C will meet the requirement in general. Okay, I'm going to just show you a couple of things in DegreeWorks that I find really helpful for students. We really want our students to own their education. You'll hear us kind of refer to that a lot. And really what that means for us is like, we want you to like understand what you're seeing and like be able to interpret what you're seeing in DegreeWorks. We want you to be in the driver's seat as far as like your classes and how you're incorporating involvement into your education as well. So I find that the better you understand and kind of know what DegreeWorks is telling you, the smoother things go, especially when it comes to getting ready for registration and making sure that you're on track for graduation. So let me just quickly pull in what if here. Oh, I can do this. Okay. Okay. So first and foremost, like when you log into DegreeWorks, it should be showing your like declared major right here at the top. If you are like taking classes towards a second major or a minor and you don't see it here, that just will mean that it's not officially part of like your degree when you graduate. So we'll want to make sure we get that officially declared. I have authority over business programs. I can't do anything with programs outside or classes outside of Huntsman. So like if there was an issue with registering for a math class, I don't have any say over those prerequisites, or to officially like add a minor and like know exactly what you need to do from semester to semester to complete that minor. you'll go to that advisor department directly. USU GPA is tracked up here at the top. If you have like transfer work, that cumulative GPA will show up down here. As you get closer to graduating, we recommend you apply 2 semesters ahead of time when you're about finished. When you apply for graduation, it will show up here that like this is an indicator for me that you've submitted an application and for what term you're anticipating completing course requirements. Your catalog year is also important because that's the requirements that were tied to your major at the time you were admitted to the program. This is especially important just because like as you're potentially corresponding with your peers, if they were admitted under a different catalog year, they might be seeing something slightly different. We have a tendency to make changes from year to year. Usually with econ, it's minor, if any, changes. So it's not as like critical of a component, but just something to be aware of because it sometimes does even change what you're seeing in degree works versus what's actually available for the major. Another little fun fact in this degree progress percentage area, the requirement percentage will go up and stop at 98%. That's a good sign for me as an advisor. That means you're registered for the last of your remaining requirements, and it will finish going up to 100% once grades get posted for your last semester. So I have a lot of students that email me and be like, I thought I was registered for everything, but it says 98%. What am I missing? And I reassure them that they're in a great spot, and that's exactly where we want them to be. So just a little heads up there for you. DegreeWorks is your master checklist. So it's going to just kind of keep a tally of your credits as you register for them. So if we were like registering for fall already and you were in those classes, it would already be counting those credits towards like your credit total and everything like that, even though the semester hasn't started. So keep that in mind as you're potentially tracking your credits, is that it's pulling in what you're registered for in progress or pre-registered type classes. And then of course it tracks like your upper division and like your 100 C- credits. One thing with econ, again, a lot of this does stem from kind of what your background is coming into the econ major. If a student is coming in like with a clean slate as a freshman into the economics major, our econ course requirements and the depth requirements fall just short of that 40 upper division credit total. So then some of your like general elective credit will need to be, you just have to like be specific about picking something that's 3,000. Usually it's only like, often it's just one random credit, which is a little bit annoying because it's hard to find a 1 credit 3,000 level class, but we make do, we find one. I was going to say something else. Oh, I was just going to touch a little bit more on that general elective. Anything that's like any extra credits that you need beyond what's required, those are just like free open credits. They can be any subject matter you want them to be. It doesn't have to be in the Huntsman School or with econ. It's just like free range. You get to pick whatever at the university that you want to take to complete those credits. So just a clarification on those general electives as well. And I'll show you some other stuff too. But as you scroll through, of course, go through past the gen eds, the depth requirements, and then like each section will show a GPA portion here. So that's where we'll track your major related. We call this like the major block. So anything that's part of the major will contribute to that particular GPA. I want to take a quick second also to make an announcement, alert you to a change. So this again is one of those things that's going to kind of depend on what your coursework already is. But the econ department has created a new class. It's called Quantitative Methods in Economics. Its course prefix and number is ECN 3000. The intent of that class is, in like big picture, it's to replace the Math 1100 or 1210 requirement and potentially also these 3 data courses. We've created Econ 3000 as a way for our econ professors and our econ department to teach calculus and statistics in the way that we want them to be taught, and like to the extent that they're going to be used in our upper level econ courses. Now there is a caveat with that. If you are double majoring in something else with business, those data courses are going to be a part of your other majors requirements, so you'd still need those data classes, but it could at least cover the math if you haven't already done your calculus. Another nice thing with this new Econ 3000 class is we get to kind of take control of like prerequisites. So yes, it does have Math 1050 as a prerequisite, But for us, we don't care about the 1-year rule like the math department. So as long as you've got Math 1050, no matter how old it is, it will cover the prerequisite for Econ 3000. So again, some of this depends on where you're at. Some students come in with like AP Calculus credit. That's all well and good. Or you've already done the data courses coming into the Econ major. So it's a little bit transferable between those 4 classes and the single Econ 3000. But want to make you aware of that as a possibility in your curriculum. Okay, and then anything that's not doesn't pertain to the major, it falls down into this general elective section, kind of like I mentioned before. I want to also come into plans here really quick and just give a couple of clarification points. When we meet together and we make plans, I'll always put my plans here. And it's a collaborative space. You can create a plan and have me check it, vice versa. And the way I make these plans, I'm just gonna kind of inform you of kind of where my brain is at when I'm creating these plans. So it will show you like a still needed section. Whatever. I'm creating this just to create it. So like over here on this left-hand side, you can scroll through, there's a still needed section. You can scroll through just courses through this way. You can add courses right here. Or the still needed section, you can like drag and drop. So for the econ major, you need 9 elective credits, and I'll use a placeholder, and I'll do the same for like any gen eds or depth requirements that you have. But I like to use this placeholder just to represent the elective requirement. And then I just leave it up to you as to which of the elective options you want to choose that's going to be the most interest to you, what's going to be most applicable to your goals. But it's going to look like this in your plan. And so it's just like a placeholder. So I don't feel like I'm locking you into thinking you need to take a particular course, even though it's an open requirement with a list of options. So something to be alerted to there. You can do like a save as copy if you are exploring potential other programs or minors. If you've got like a base plan, saving as copy will duplicate that plan, so you don't have to start from scratch another time to explore what a potential add of another program is going to look like for a long-term trajectory. The audit feature is also nice because it will take your plan and plug it into the worksheet so you can kind of see and just double check everything is falling into place where it's supposed to be. So yeah, there's that. And then last thing with degree works that I want to share. There's a couple of fun little tools up here at the top right hand side with these 3 dots. You can view your class history, which is just kind of a simplified version of your transcript. This is nice because you could always double check like, oh, do you have the transfer work that I had before coming to Utah State? Or you want like maybe check, you're like, I feel like I took that class already. You can scroll through here really easily and make sure that you really have or haven't taken it, stuff like that. It's really helpful. And then the other thing, the GPA calculator is handy. I tend to use the term calculator and the advice calculator the most. Term calculator, it will show up your current semester's classes, and you can plug in like where you currently stand with your grades and see what, if you were to retain those grades through the rest of the semester, it'll show you what kind of impact that's going to have on your overall GPA. That's especially helpful, I think, if you're either working to raise your GPA up to the 2.5 we need for graduation, or if you're trying to maintain a certain GPA for like a scholarship, financial aid, things like that. And then advice calculator has the same purpose in terms of like kind of checking where you're at with your GPA, but it's more of you saying, this is where I currently stand with my credits and my GPA. This is what I'm hoping to get to with my GPA. And then when you calculate that, it will show you an average. So it might say you need 40 credits averaging at a B+ to reach that GPA, and give you kind of an idea of big picture, what it's going to take to get to what your goal is for your GPA. So just a fun little extra kind of tool there that can be helpful if you're concerned about anything with your GPA. That's kind of the gist of DegreeWorks. I live and breathe in DegreeWorks. It's my favorite tool. It's my favorite place to hang out. So it can really be utilized in a really efficient way to help you kind of map out where you are for graduation. Do you have any questions for me about DegreeWorks? Perfect. Okay. I am going to right here. Awesome. Okay. I mean, I've kind of like brought up that like you're welcome to add minors or double majors as you would like. But just another kind of point with minors. again, you can add any, you're not tied to programs only in the Huntsman School. You're welcome to choose programs outside of Huntsman as well. The business minor is one that only as amongst the Huntsman students, econ students are the only ones that can do the business minor because it's an abbreviation of our business acumen, and that business acumen is not part of your major requirements. And then of course you wouldn't do the econ minor with your econ major, but anything else here is free game. You're welcome to add any type of minor that would be applicable for you. And then last thing before I turn the reins over to Nicole to share about career resources, where our office is appointment only, we provide a couple of different resources. If you did have like a quick question during the day and you wanted to just like stop in and ask an easy question, we have student mentors in our office while we're open. So Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, which is in EVB 309. Or we have our start desk, which is on the main floor in that breezeway between EVB and Huntsman Hall. And our student mentors are there Monday through Friday, 9 to 2. They're trained for even like resume review. If you need to have your resume reviewed for a class assignment, or you're getting ready for to apply or an interview and you just like need to do it really quick and you can't get in to see Nicole in time, they can help with a resume review. Registration, academic type questions. They're trained for all of that as well. So please utilize our student mentors as needed if you have questions. So without further ado, I will turn the time over to Nicole.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to start off talking a little bit about, as far as I go, career, we're going to be focusing more on things like, I'm going to be focusing more on things on like internships, things like that. If you're going to come see me, we're going to talk about getting you ready. I've had several people come in for resume reviews for the mock interview that's coming up. So those are all things you can even email me if you can't find a spot on my schedule. I can help with that too. So let's talk for a minute about the SEED program. Have you ever heard of the SEED program? Okay, so basically you're taking usually a semester off, where you can still go to school during that time, but it's a time where you're going to go to another country, usually, where you get to help with developing business entrepreneurs in those countries. And you're basically teaching them the information that you know and helping them to increase their business. I think someone told me the goal was for them to be able to double their income within the year after you've gone in and you've helped. And it's a great experience. You get to have a cultural experience. Also, it's a great thing to show leadership, to show that you can go somewhere and work with people. And I know this gentleman that's on this right here said that he was applying for an internship, that they literally called him while he was there. And they were so impressed that what he was doing, that they're like, you've got it. Like, you didn't even need to really do anything about it. So that's awesome. It's a great way to get your foot in the door with, I think, learning about other people, other cultures, and expanding your resume. So this is a great thing to find your resume too.
Also great like application to what you're learning in the classroom.
Yeah, yes, thank you. All right, so everybody should be enrolled in the Huntsman Canvas course. This is something that all of our new students are required to do. I'm gonna jump over to, let's write this one. Let's go ahead and watch this first, and then we'll get into it a little bit more.
Hello and welcome to the Huntsman Experience. My name is Jenny. I'm a current marketing major here in the Huntsman Business School, and I'm also a peer mentor for the FJ Management Center for Student Success. The Huntsman Experience is a gamified course that connects incoming Huntsman students like yourself to opportunities and resources that will jumpstart your time at USU and help you to dare mighty things inside and outside of the classroom. Employers are looking for individuals with the right soft skills, such as critical thinking, teamwork, and leadership. These can be pretty overwhelming to try and develop by yourself. That's why the FJ Management Center for Student Success created the Huntsman Experience. Through the Canvas course, you can start developing these skills, also known as competencies. The Huntsman Experience will guide you through activities, earning points along the way that will prepare you to ask yourself an important question. How does what I'm doing help me get ready for my career? Some events may correlate directly, such as a workshop hosted by your dream company, while others may be more transferable, like being a treasurer for the archery club. In the end, all of your experiences can and will help you develop your career competencies. It's simply about being intentional with your engagement and knowing how to communicate the value of your experiences. This may sound complicated, but that's why we're here. So take the next step in owning your education and click the Start Your Experience link to learn more and to start earning points. And as always, go Aggies.
All right. So basically, it's a course that it's showing you what this is about, what we're trying to do to help you. It's got, as she said, that there's resources on there. It's introducing you to those resources and those things that you can use to help you as you progress, because we're not just interested in you getting your degree. We want to prepare you for what happens after that degree, getting the job, being prepared for that job. As she said, there's also soft skills. It's not just about, oh, well, I know how to do this particular program. It's about I can communicate, I can lead. Those are all things that help you in your job search. And we want to make sure that we are starting early and getting you ready for that.
And the Huntsman Experience Canvas page is like meant to be like a resource, so you're not getting credit for it. It's not part of your
Yes.
tuition. So it's really like to whatever extent you want to participate, it's really up to you to.
Yeah, and as she said, it's gamified, which basically means what you choose to do, you can get points for that. Then one of our other career service career specialists, she will take those and she'll display them. And then if you're the winner of that, you get this nice pad portfolio from USU that you can use to take with you to job interviews and put your nice resume in it. And it just looks really, really, I would say really smart. Is that a word we say anymore? Really
Smart
nice,
looking.
really smart looking. So, with this program today, number one, you have to attend this course. Number two, at the end of this course, today, there will be a QR code that we do ask that you prepare as we're going, some goals. We want some short-term and like long-term, and it'll say as we get to that point, short-term, semester, and then long-term. And once you put those in, then you've got your credit for this. We don't want you to have a hold on your resume. We don't want you to have a hold on your record. So please, just get that done. Get it out of the way. You can stay for a few minutes, finish it up, and then go. Okay. So the next thing is your Dare Mighty Career Canvas course. You are also enrolled in this. And what this is basically, let's go down to real quick to assignments. Again, this is not necessarily graded. You don't have to do it. You can send your resume through this. I can look at it through this, but basically it's just training you on how to get ready for the next step or how to prepare for that. And you know, you don't want to say, oh, well, I'll wait to do my resume until I graduate. Well, it should be ready so that when an internship comes up, you're ready to go. The last thing you want to do is to be trying to get your resume ready right before an internship going, oh no, I don't have time. So make sure you plan ahead. I think that there's the Business 3200 class that requires that to happen. So it's a good thing just to get it out of the way, and then you can just update it as you go because it's already done, because we already have a very set resume template for you that we have found works best. And most businesses, from what we've worked with, said this is what we want to see. And so that's why we have a very set one. Some places have a little bit more, like if you're in marketing, they're a little bit more free with it. But if you're business or your finance and econ, even investment business, they're a little bit more intense too. So there is a set way we ask you to do it. So this is a great, just you look through, we've just got some, if you want to explore your majors, lots of great stuff in here. Also, every week, there will be an announcement that usually has some sort of little spiel about something, but down below, it will show you the upcoming events, which are important too, because those are really great ways to network, to get more information. Like we've got the job virtual, where's that at? Virtual mock interview day coming up on Friday that we encourage all of our students to go to. But if you're wondering what's coming up, this is a great way to find out. You can also just go to the full calendar events page. However, there's a lot of things that come up that are not going to be on that calendar. So I will try and compile those here. There's also job opportunities that I've fished out for you, some internships. It's not comprehensive. It's not everything that's out there. It's just really what's on Handshake right now. I haven't even delved into getting stuff from either Indeed, which isn't the best place to look, or LinkedIn. So just know that that's a resource there. All right. We're going to talk about, let's go back to our, I always do that. I don't know why it does that. We're going to talk about our Focus Friday event. So the mock interview day is a Focus Friday event. So basically we've invited, I think there's up to 25 businesses that are coming to basically give students an opportunity to practice their interview skills. And because it's mock interview, you get to do it from your home, from your computer, just like you would if someone said, hey, we're going to do a virtual interview, which is kind of the thing now. Yeah, it might be the first interview you get before you move on to the next interview that might be in person. So it's good to have the skills for that, to understand it. So this is why we do that. Fridays, you notice we don't do classes pretty much on Fridays because we want to give you time to attend these events, to build your network, to build your knowledge and your experience. So we encourage you to go to those. Again, those are going to be listed on the Career Canvas page, or a lot of times you'll see they'll post things like you've got the mock interview things that are posted around the buildings. It gives you an idea of what's going on. If you're in a club, they usually will announce that too. The great thing about being in a club also, sometimes they have very specific things and people that they invite that's for club members. So it's great if you're interested in like personal financial planning. They have a meeting tonight at 5:30 and they have someone coming that's going to speak to the students. So there's just, again, networking, getting to know students that have similar interests in you, and creating that network too. These things, this is kind of what we talked about a little bit about, is a little bit of the classes, but also internships. We do recommend that you do an internship, if not one, at least two. If you're going in something more like investment, and you're probably going to be doing 3, there is a plan for that. And that's something you need to get started early. You also need to plan early because sometimes you're applying a year before. So please keep on top of that. You can talk to me. You can talk to the club advisors if you'd like. They sometimes know some more about certain ones that come through their club. But for the most part, this is something that you want to be aware of and connected with. There's so many opportunities here that USU has provided, whether it's speakers, whether it's opportunities like the SEED program. What did you call this one again?
It's the
Global Learning Program. So lots of really great things to take part of while you're here, when you have the opportunity to, because usually once you get out into the world after this, it's a little bit more locked down and you don't have the freedom to do these really fun things that are also learning experiences.
The Global Learning Program, have you heard much about those? There's a scholarship that you can receive up to 2 times during your academic career. It's called the Opportunity Scholarship. So it's really nice because it just helps make the trip a little bit more feasible, and you can take advantage of a couple of them since you can receive that scholarship up to twice. And they go sometimes different places. We have some that are a little bit more consistent, like going to London. We often go to Paris or Marseille. But like we've taken trips to Ghana and Peru and a variety of different places. So it's a great way because they go and visit businesses. So it's a business trip, but also a touristy trip. So a great way to just kind of immerse yourself in some other ways as well.
Well, and there's other things like competitions, they do, like they have the pro sales competition. They have lots of other things that you can go and take part of that are not only great learning experiences for you, but really great things to put on your resume that shows that your engagement in school and the learning that you have, that's just a step above maybe someone else who's applying for the same job. All right, your story matters. What this is basically we're asking you as a student to speak to other students, incoming students, and tell them what your stories are. What has happened here that has helped you progress. We have students that have gone and done the seed program that have come back and put a little bit about their story and how much it helped them. And we will use that for advertising. We just use it on our website to really showcase the experience that you can have here at the Huntsman. So with this QR code, if you click on it, you can go, so if you have a really great, experience with a club, a professor, or, you go to the seed program or something that really stands out to you and you want to share it. This is a way to do it. And we would love to have your experience to share. Any more on that one? No. All right. So we talked about just for a second about that we're asking you to do some goals. It's important that you have your goals ready for you to be able to look at and progress in your journey. If you don't have a goal, you kind of you might get the job done for the most part, but you may miss out on some really great opportunities. I love the story. I always call on you to share this. Will you share that story? I think it's such a great story.
It's kind of one of those like shining star kind of examples, but I think there's a lot to take away from it. Years ago, we had a student who was studying marketing, and his like big dream goal was to be a river and cave tour guide in New Zealand, and then eventually move on to work for his favorite like outdoor product type company in Germany. And so when he'd sit down with his advisor each semester, should have him ask himself each semester, like, what am I doing this semester that's going to help me get there? Like, what's going to help me achieve these goals, and what's going to be applicable now to those goals? So he'd do things like, he took a few like German classes. He got involved in like the outdoor rec clubs and activities, took some outdoor product design classes with his like business marketing classes and clubs here. And then like, he was able to time it well. So he graduated in December, so he could move to New Zealand for their summer. And then he moved on to work in Germany for, I think it was probably just 2 or 3 years before he kind of moved on to the next thing. So it's like, again, like a textbook kind of example, but I think if we just even implement that practice of like, okay, what do I want to be able to accomplish at the end of my college education, or where do I want to be headed after this, and what's going to help me get there right now from this semester and then the next semester, and just kind of self-evaluating that from semester to semester. And really, I think it's important for anyone, whether they're in college or beyond, to remember too that like the you today isn't going to be the same you in 2, 4, 10 years down the road. So we also need to be willing to be flexible, to take advantage of opportunities and see where that might lead, and see what kinds of things we can accomplish when we're open-minded to that.
Yeah. And just kind of with that example too, it's when you have a big idea of something you want to do, it doesn't necessarily mean, well, I should say, if you don't have a big idea, that's okay. But if you have something that's like, hey, I really would like to work in a particular industry, then maybe you need to set goals for what kind of internships do I need in order to get that? What kind of classes are going to best speak to that? Because sometimes you have a little bit of room where you can take some options. Which one is really going to market me in that category, and I'm going to get the best experience from? So planning ahead is really critical. The last thing we want is for you to get to your last semester and go, oh, by the way, I want to do this. And you're like, well, that's not been your emphasis. You haven't really done anything for that. Now you're going to go up against people that are. So that might be a little bit more difficult for you unless you stay a little bit longer and take some other classes to give you some more time in that. So be talking to your advisor, be talking to me as your career coach, and making sure that, hey, this is the path I'm going down. And if it changes. That's totally okay. We'll go with it because it's your plan. It's what you want to do. We just want to make sure that you realize the importance of planning ahead. So with this, we are going to ask you in the next page, we're going to have a QR code. We're going to ask you to set 3 goals. We're going to ask you to set a short-term goal, which will be 1 to 4 weeks. Within that time, we're going to ask you to set a semester goal, which will be something you're going to accomplish this semester. I like the options of, you're going to participate in some Focus Friday events. Maybe it's you're going to join a club and get to know the faculty member over that, or a couple of students within that. It could be, and then also your long-term goal. What's your big dream? Because your big dream These are sometimes the things that you break it down into. They don't have to necessarily be related, but they could be, right? As far as your short-term goals, it could be something as simple as meeting with me, going over your resume. It could be meeting with your advisor and making sure you're on track for where you need to go. It could just be going and attending one of our events. So make it whatever works for you, what speaks to you. We want it to be something that you will actually do. This is not something we just want to say, hey, write this down and then forget about it, because that's not the point. The point of this and us putting it in here is because we know that this is something really that will help you step outside of things. I know that backpack to briefcase with the young man that went to the seed program. I'm gonna run back up to him. He just recently did one of our backpack to briefcase things. I don't think it's out yet. But he talked about one of his goals was to connect with someone on the way his way to class every day. And those connections really paid off for him. And I can't remember specifically what it was, but I was really impressed by the fact that he made a goal and he stuck to it, and it really actually helped him down the road. So, and it was something simple, but it was a networking strategy too. It was like, I want to get to know people, for, you don't know that maybe somebody graduates before you and they go into business that you want to, you networked with them, you became friends at school. Like, hey, how do I get into that? You've got an inside already. All right. Here's your QR code. This is, I don't know if I've missed anything, but we basically take some time, set your 3 goals, and then you are passed off for the class. Please utilize those resources with the Huntsman, the Canvas, what's that called? The Huntsman course, and then also the Huntsman Experience, and then also the Dare Mighty Careers. Those are great resources for you. All right, thanks for coming.
We'll stay and linger for however long.
Yeah,
So
feel
you
free to finish
feel free
up.
to like stay here and do it, or if you've got somewhere else to be, you can leave kind of whenever, and we'll just be here hanging out.
Move that up.
Stop it.